Welcome to the Slow Living Collective podcast. I'm Amy, wife, mother of two and homemaker. Come along with me as I share my love for simple living, growing in my allotment garden, diving into what it means to be an urban homesteader and embracing life as a mother and homemaker. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Slow Living Collective podcast. If you're new here, I'm Amy, and this podcast is all about everything slow, simple, seasonal living, holistic well-being, and just helping you slow down, simplify, and just find the joy in your everyday life. So today's episode is, it's about Christmas. And it seems a bit weird for me to be talking about Christmas because I do record these episodes in advance. So it's not technically Christmas at the moment, but it is heading that way. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about just being able to slow down and find those elements of slow living in a season that is just full of rush. It is full of rushing around, it's full of busyness, it's full of excess, and I want to talk to you guys about how I feel about the season, but also I guess how we can continue to slow down and simplify and not get involved in it as much as possible. And now it's going to look different for everyone. We all have our own idea of how we like to celebrate, if we celebrate, and how different elements of simple living or simplicity in general can exist within that. So let's dive into it. Let's talk about how we can slow down and still enjoy the holiday season even in the midst of the busy and the rush. So I think we can probably all agree that Christmas and the whole season, whether you celebrate Christmas or whether you celebrate the holiday season, it can be a really busy time for everyone. And even if you feel like you live a very slow and simple life, it still infiltrates. There are gifts to buy, parties to attend, meals to cook. You might be catching up with friends and family more often. And it's really easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle of that. But also we have to remember, when we talk about slowing down and simplifying, we often talk about how we allow our lives to ebb and flow with the seasons. And we cannot talk about Christmas or the holiday season or December in general without recognizing that it is winter. It is the season of winter when naturally our bodies are slowing down. We need more rest. There is more quiet in our lives. And so for this very busy season to come upon us, it's not really the right time now, is it? But it's something that we have always experienced, always known from, the day we were born. It's never been any different. Christmas comes, the holiday season comes, 1st of December or earlier, and we're thrust into it. And I think sometimes that's why, if you think about it in terms of what our bodies need and what our life needs in those slow, dark seasons in terms of winter, these cold, dark, slower months, and to have something that is so full of hustle and bustle, it makes you realise why January and February can be such difficult months. They're such a come down, and it's because we still operate on this very high level throughout Christmas, and we have this very big build up throughout December, and then the new year comes, and then it's like crash back to normal, nothing to look forward to. We've all just realised that, it's actually quite cold and damp and dark, and we've still got several months of winter to get through before we've even got the hope of spring. So in a seasonal perspective, it's very clear and obvious when you actually look at it and analyse it that it makes sense why we can feel this sort of level of come down when it comes to January. And hopefully throughout the course of this month, I've got lots of different things planned in terms of this podcast, but also in terms of my newsletter. So if you aren't on my mailing list, I'm going to leave the link to join in the notes. You can go and check that out because I offer loads of simple seasonal slow living tips in that, and let's just get through this season, but also to not feel that come down. Let's see how we can sort of maintain this simplicity throughout. And so, like I said, it's very, very obvious to me now why it seems as though we struggle at the other side of Christmas. And like I said, there's so much going on, so much hustle and bustle. But it's really important for us to remember that this time of year is not about going to meals or parties or what gifts we buy, and it's about celebrating with the people that we want to celebrate with, whether that be family or whether that be the family we create for ourselves in terms of our friends, whatever that looks like to you, whatever your loved ones and your own personal family, like I said, whether that are your birth family or the family you've created for yourself, whatever that looks like for you. I hope that we can just sort of scale things back and realize that it's about creating memories with those people that we want to create memories with, and to be able to enjoy each other's company at this time, and just really pare back and think about what the season means to us, because it won't mean the same to everyone. We don't all have the same family set up, we don't all have the same feelings about the season in general, and we don't all live the same lives. So it's about finding ways that we can slow down, enjoy the season for whatever it means to us, and try and step away from the overwhelm, because it can be so difficult. And Christmas is everywhere. I mean, from like August, sometimes you can find Christmas cards in the shops, and then suddenly you're overwhelmed by, I need to buy this present and that present. So let's dive into that a little more. So there are a few tips on ways that we can maybe stop ourselves feeling so overwhelmed when it comes to Christmas. And the first thing that springs to mind is about setting boundaries, because like I said, Christmas can be this really busy season, and I would say over the last maybe 5 years I've really been mindful about what I say yes to, and whether that be invitations or commitments. It's not necessarily about feeling like I can't fit them in, and more about if I feel like I have the capacity to do them, because I have to honour how I feel and how I feel throughout the season of winter. Like I said, I'm very aware of the seasons and how my body and personality and my whole self just can ebb and flow through that. And so it's not a natural time of year for me to be outward, and it's definitely a natural time of year to be inward, and it is for a lot of us. And so setting boundaries and saying no to things like invitations to parties or commitments, whatever it is, don't overschedule. If you're feeling like it's too much, just focus on the activities that are most important to you and do them, because you can always catch up for dinner with everyone in the new year. And this is the thing, we get like this almost like FOMO, isn't it? That actually, speaking of FOMO, so FOMO, if you aren't aware, is the fear of missing out. So we get this idea of FOMO that we have to do it, we have to get together before Christmas, we must get together, and the whole month can be a bit like that. Like, different people in your life, different friendship groups, everybody's getting together for some reason, whether it's a work do or friendship groups getting together, family events. It can be a lot, and it's like this massive, like, we must do it before Christmas. But why must we do it before Christmas? Because technically it's just a couple of days, and then, like, then New Year is just a couple of days, and it's just the same. Nothing changes. So, you don't have to feel like you've got to cram everything into December, I promise you, because God willing, we will have more days. There will be more time to do these things. And what I prefer to do is just schedule it through the year, and I'm very lucky. I have great friends now that really sort of understand and live a very similar way to me, and to our family. And so, actually, if none of my friends would ever be like, let's get together before Christmas, because everybody's like, oh, Christmas, December, it's killing me. So we have this very good understanding, and I very, very much spread these things out throughout the year when I feel like I can. So it's about honouring who you are, and if people really love you and they're really in your life for the right reasons, they will understand that, sometimes it's a lot. Sometimes it is a lot. And so it's just important to set those boundaries and say no where things don't serve you. But also, in a season that can seem so busy, definitely take time for yourself, even if it's just a little time each day. And I know it's difficult, and I talk about self-care here so often, and I always feel so like underqualified to talk about it, because it's so simple to be like, take time for yourself, and then everybody's like, I wish I could. And it's not that simple. It's not always that simple at all. And I feel that too, because I don't even know how to define myself sometimes. In my Monday to Friday role, I'm a mother, I'm a homemaker, and I'm a home educator, and that's where my priorities lie. Saturday and Sunday, I obviously want to spend time with my whole family, in terms of my children and my husband, all of us together. But I also want to continue to do the things that I love, which is podcasting and content creation. And I've got big plans for my business that are coming so soon, and trying to fit it all in sometimes just feels like impossible. And then I'm supposed to do self-care too, and I'm also got some mega plans for the offline version of my business as well, that's going to be coming in the spring. But you want me to do self-care too? And so it can be a lot, and so like I say, I sometimes feel underqualified to talk about it, despite actually not being underqualified to talk about it. But sometimes I just think, like, people will be like, I wish I could find time for self-care. But don't worry, I feel you, and I'm right there with you. But if we can find a few minutes each day just to schedule some time for ourselves to relax and recharge, even if it's just reading a book before bed, or taking a walk, or listening to your favourite music, going for a run with your favourite music, or a power walk with your favourite music, is amazing. So whatever that looks like for you, just take a little time, because the season is busy and we need to connect as much to ourselves as possible. And I suppose this one goes hand in hand as well, about being present, because I am a big proponent of mindfulness. I'm a mindfulness guide. I am very keen on the idea of being present, but also honest about, you cannot always be present. I am not always present. I wish I could be more present. And it's just this constant thing that I think we all can work on all of the time. But throughout the Christmas season, when we are spending time with people, try and be present in the moment. Put away your phone, focus on the people in front of you, the conversations that you're having, the connections you have, because you won't regret those things. And another good tip for the holiday season is just to enjoy the simple things. And I've got more coming on that, because I truly believe Christmas is so much more than the decorations and the gifts. And those things are fine. I know there are people out there who, they're chomping at the bit to get their Christmas tree up as soon as possible. And they are, their love language is gift giving. And there's nothing wrong with those things, but I think we can do them in a more simplified way, so that we can, ensure that when we're giving gifts, that really mean something to people. And I'll give you an example. So I always struggle with gift giving. Gift giving is not my love language. Of course I enjoy giving people gifts, especially if it's, something that's very well thought out, and I'm really excited for them to receive it. But I don't feel like that about every gift. And after I did my podcast with Shannon, you can go back and check that out. I did a podcast with her back in October, and we talked in such depth about being more minimal and living a more minimal and more intentional life. And one of the things we talked about in that was about gift giving. And it made me think about gift giving in a different way. I have often been mindful about gift giving, and in terms of what I spend as well, I think I'm quite mindful in that. But I do enjoy giving a gift. When, like I say, it's well thought out. I'm very excited for it. But not every time I give a gift have I felt that way. And I want to be more intentional with that. So something that I really appreciate when it comes to gifts I am given are experiences or things that really help me. And so I could give you a list of books 3 miles long that I want to read about slow living, simple living, mindfulness. Am I going to get round to reading them? Probably not. Am I going to do more than flick through them? Probably not. And something that is much more important to me is, I remember when we first got married, we actually moved in within our first year of marriage. We purchased our first home, and we did it by ourselves, and it was hard. It was really hard, and it was very expensive. Any of you that have purchased a home will know it was very, very difficult. And we moved in to our new home in mid-December. So as you can imagine, when Christmas rolled around, like in the months leading up to Christmas anyway, we was paying for like moving costs, and then we're paying for to hire people, we're paying for surveys, all of this sort of stuff, constantly like shelling out money. And it was really difficult when it came to Christmas to actually have any money for anything. First mortgage payment right around the corner. It was really, really difficult, solicitors' fees, etc. We spent through the nose on acquiring our first home, and I was, we're so proud of ourselves for that. But it was really difficult, and a lot of my family gave us food shopping vouchers. We would shop at Morrison's, and so they gave us gift cards for Morrison's. And in the end, we were able to get, 2 or 3 weekly shops out of those cards, which made a massive difference, having just bought our first home, but also made a massive difference in terms of January can often be a really tough month financially for people as well, because people get paid before Christmas. There's a long gap till the next payday. Sometimes it can be sort of 5, almost 6 weeks between your 2 pays. And, it can be really, really difficult also, paying off the excesses of Christmas. And so that was really helpful. So things like that, I think, are worth their weight in gold. Being able to relieve somebody of the cost of their weekly shop, half of their weekly shop, a quarter of their weekly shop, is massive. And it was massive then, and I think it would be even more massive now. Like, if I was given a gift of a week of my shopping, like, that'd be amazing. And it might not look flashy, and it might not be what somebody considers a traditional Christmas gift, but to me that is worth far, far more. And again, another thing that we've asked for Christmas is membership to a local attraction that we really love for us and the kids. And again, that's something else that we can enjoy over and over again, and it's something that we don't have to pay out of pocket for, and that we can enjoy, and that, you know, should we receive that from a family member, you know, that they can enjoy it with us. There are so many different things that can just help financially, and I know it's not necessarily sexy to be like, oh, well, here's some money for your gas bill, but people need things like that. That takes the weight off. And if you want to spend money on someone and you're happy to spend money on someone, does it matter what the gift is? If I give somebody a gift that's worth £100 and it's something that they may not really use, that will sit in their home, that they'll feel like they can't get rid of because I spent £100 on it, and that they've got some sort of guilt attached to it, is that better than me giving them £100 so they can pay their electricity bill, or £100 towards their food shop? Things that will really help them. Like, which one's better? To me, the second one. And so just think about, if you are doing gifts, what those gifts might be. Is there something that could be better? Instead of spending whatever money is, instead of spending that money on something that they might like, but they might not like, or, it's really difficult, because to some degree, if you're struggling financially, and sometimes it's nice to receive a gift that you could never purchase yourself. But maybe we need to be more open about gift giving. Like, what is it that you really want? Like, and don't be like, I'm not paying your electricity bill. If you're going to spend that money anyway, I'd be happy. I'd be happy to help someone out. To relieve the pressure of finances is huge, I think. So yeah, that's just a few little tips on how you can sort of embrace simplicity, I guess, and slow living throughout a very, very, very busy season. And I just think that, because Christmas and the holiday season can be this very sort of particularly stressful time of year, I think when we sort of embrace the elements of slow and simple living and try not to get caught up in the hustle and bustle, it can really help reduce the stress of the season and help us hopefully enjoy it a little more. I think it can bring more happiness. It can bring stronger relationships, because when we're honest about what we need as gifts, or maybe what we don't need as gifts, or in the same vein, like if you couldn't afford to buy people a gift as well, like, I don't know, it's something that's, I don't have the answers to it, but I wouldn't want someone spending their money on me, feeling like they had to spend their money on me if they really couldn't afford to. And I would rather just have their time and create sort of more meaningful experiences throughout the holidays, and just all together just have a greater appreciation for the simple things. So before I close out this episode, I just wanted to run through a few things that I think will be really helpful tips for helping you slow down and enjoy the Christmas season a little more, because we're in early December and we've got a long way to go. So let's figure out some ways that we can slow down and simplify things and just enjoy this Christmas season in maybe a different way than we have before. So firstly, I think we should set realistic expectations. Don't try and do too much. Don't try and spend too much. Be honest with yourself. What can you do? What can't you do? Listen to yourself. Listen to your body. Listen to what you need. Remember, it is winter and it is normal to not want to be busy. In fact, it's normal to want to hibernate. So if that's what you want to do, do that. Focus on the things that are really important to you. Focus on those get-togethers that you want to do. Focus on the gifts you do want to buy. Focus on the things that, if people are asking you what you might want as a gift, be honest and talk about the things that would really help you and that you really might need. And whether that be help with your shopping, help with your electricity bill, or whether it be something that you really want, maybe just, maybe it's really expensive and you just would like a contribution to it. For example, for my birthday last year, I knew everyone was going to ask me and my family what I wanted as a gift. And there was only one thing that I really wanted, and that was a greenhouse for my allotment. And we couldn't really afford it at the time, by ourselves. Not easily anyway. And so I asked if everybody would contribute, and they did. And people contributed this was within my family. People contributed what they were able, and then we were able to just top up the rest, and that was perfect because I got my greenhouse, and then I made them all come out for the day to the allotment and build it with me. I bet they was all thinking it was freezing cold. I think it was like end of March, freezing cold. The wind was howling. They were there for hours, so many hours, and I bet they were all thinking like, God, I thought when I gave them money that was the end of my commitment to this thing. But they all did it with a good heart anyway. And so focus on the things that when it comes to gift giving, ask people what they want, and when people ask you, tell them what you want or need. If people are going to spend money on you, or you're going to spend money on people, then let it be for the right reasons, and let it be things that are so helpful to us and not just things that are going to clog up our homes. And also remember, like, if you receive a gift that maybe is not something that you want to keep, you can set it free. You don't have to feel guilty about it. That thing has been fulfilled. That person gave you the gift. You've accepted it. It's all been done with, a good heart. You don't have to hold on to things that don't serve you. And I think that's important in every aspect of life. And so another tip for enjoying the Christmas season as well is just schedule downtime. If you are busy, schedule some downtime for yourself. Allow yourself to relax and recharge. It can get busy and it can get overwhelming. And like we mentioned, just try and be as present as you can. We can't all be present all the time. It's just not possible. We're always thinking ahead, thinking of the past, thinking what we need to do, what we need to buy, when we're going to get the turkey ready, all of these things. So just pay attention to where you are, what your surroundings are, and enjoy the company of the people that you choose to spend time with over the season. And just savor it. Just appreciate all the little things that, you have around you. And so, say no to the commitments that you don't have time for, or that you just don't feel able to fulfill. Schedule it for the new year. January and February are dull. Schedule it for them. It's something to look forward to. If you are maybe sort of like the default person in your house, delegate. Definitely try and delegate tasks to others. Not everybody is the default in their household, but if you are the default, sometimes it can be, Christmas can be even more overwhelming. And so, try and find things that you can delegate to other people. And financially, set a budget and stick to it. Don't spend more than you can. Don't be paying off Christmas for the rest of the year. It's not worth it. The time you spend with people is worth far more than any gift. If you can't afford any gifts, tell people. I know it's a difficult conversation, but tell them, because I promise you, people would rather just have your time than have a gift from you. If you can't afford it, or you don't want to do gifts, maybe you don't want to do gifts, just be honest with people. They can be really like conversations that we go over in our head, like it feels like it's going to be difficult. But I promise you, most, if not all people will be like, fine, that's good with me. You've probably just relieved them of something they were worrying about as well. And so, if you do want to do gifts, you can always do homemade gifts or experiences instead of material things, and just let go of the idea that everything has to be perfect. slowing down and simplifying over Christmas can really just help reduce the stress that the season can often bring. And I'm not saying it's like this terrible season and we all hate every minute of it, not at all. There is a lot of fun and a lot of joy and a lot of sparkle about Christmas, but I was just trying to like hone in on some of the things that can make it more stressful. And what we really want to do is just enjoy it, increase our joy, our happiness, and just be more mindful and have a more meaningful season. So when we slow down and enjoy the present a bit more, we can create a more fulfilling holiday season for ourselves, but also all our loved ones as well. Now, I talk about slow and simple living all the time, so I hope you will maybe trek back and listen to some other episodes. You can follow me on my new Instagram handle. If you've struggled to follow me, it's because I changed my username, but hopefully you've still found me. Who knows? But this is the first episode I'm recording since changing my username, so my new username is @TheSlowLivingCollective. You can find me on Instagram. I hang out there. That's probably where I hang out the most. You can also find me on my blog, which is theslowlivingcollective.com. I have something very exciting coming in the new year, so you'll want to be checking all of those places. Also, if you want to join my online mailing list community, however you want to phrase it, I'll leave the link below and you can do that. I offer slow living tips and guidance and simple living and all of that stuff. All the stuff that you get here and more, I guess. So just remember that it takes time to cultivate a slower pace of life. So don't worry if you feel like you're not getting it right. None of us are getting it right. Okay, thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode. I will catch you in the next one. Until then, check me out on Instagram @TheSlowLivingCollective and check out the blog, theslowlivingcollective.com. See you next time.